Welcome to Trots TV. Time for a preview of one of the feature races coming up over the weekend. That is the Hondo Grattan Stakes. It plays an important role as a qualifier for the Chariots of Fire. And there have been a few changes with the race in New Zealand set down for this week, the Pelorus not standing up. So all of a sudden, connections going into this race know that 9 horses out of the 2 qualifiers in Sydney are going to get into the Chariots of Fire. And I think that probably goes or plays on the mind of the trainers. They know that it's not a perform or you're out sort of event this week. So let's have a look at my selections for this race, and there's also a chance to check out the market as well on tab.com.au. Look, I'm going to tip number 11 Cruise Bromac in this race. I know that he's drawn awkwardly, but the Victorian has been in super form, and importantly, he's one of the Victorians that comes to Sydney with some form at Menangle. He's had 3 starts on the track. He's won 2 of those. The time that he was defeated, he was very unlucky, and he was recording some very quick times. I think he went 151.5 in one of his victories on the track back before he turned 4. So he's got loads of ability. He went over to Gloucester Park. He performed admirably over there. He's arrived back in Victoria and he's been very good. He's won by a combined 40 metres at his past 2 starts, and can do some work in his races off a second row draw last time out, proved much too strong. So despite the wide draw on Saturday night, I think he can go forward in the early stages and attempt to find a position, and with that finishing burst that he has, the way that he races at Menangle, I think he's the way to go in the race. Now, hardest to beat is Arms of an Angel, TAB number 12. She's a very talented mare. We've seen what she does at Menangle. She gets out and she runs. She's got a personal best of 150.3. I don't think there'd be anyone in this race who'd want to go head and head with her. They'd be happy to let her stride and maybe sit on her back and hope to beat her in the concluding stages. Only little query with her for mine is the fact that she's never really been in a dogfight in Australia. We don't know how much she's going to give if something gets up and eyeballs her. But if they do let her roll along in front and set her own tempo, she is going to give them something to chase. And look, with that 150.3 in the bank, if she was to run within a second of that, I think 151.5 will probably win Saturday night's race. So you'd have to think that if she bowls along in front and does her own thing, she's going to be right in the finish. So I do give Arms of an Angel a very good chance in the Hondo Grattan Stakes. Number 1, Amaretto, is my 3rd selection. Now, she's a really interesting case because she's first up from a spell. Ashley Syker has had her at the trial. She performed extremely well at the trials on Monday at Bathurst. She went 154.5. She got home her last 800 in 55 seconds. And we know what she does. She's got good gate speed. She's drawn well finally in a big race. She can use that gate speed. And Ashley's got a few options with her. She can either look to push through in the early stages, hand over to the right horse and get a really nice run, look to run in the first 4 and qualify for the Chariots of Fire. Or she can be a little bit more aggressive in the early stages and maybe try and hold up until Arms of an Angel gets there and then take the sit on her. She looks to have strengthened up a bit from a 3 to a 4-year-old season, so I'll be looking forward to seeing her in the flesh on Saturday night. But I do think from the good draw, she's going to be one that can fill a place. And for 4th, I've thrown in number 4, Kept Under Wraps. Look, I'll be honest, surprised me that he went up favourite for this race when Tab released its market earlier in the week at $3.20. He is in good form, there's no doubt about that, but I do think he overperformed with the Mark Purdon stable. He was winning races that I think the Mark Purdon factor helped him with, in that Mark was able to bully his way to the front, got a lot of respect in races. And while he's now with Belinda McCarthy and the horse is in super form, I don't look, he's going as well as he ever has. But I'm just not sure in this sort of race where there's other good horses in it, whether he's going to get all the favours that we've seen him get. He gets out of the gate okay, but I think in this race he might find himself away from the speed, which is going to be crucial. He is in good mental form. He thinks he's a world beater at the moment. He's had a couple of cheap kills, and you know, he's won some nice races like the Intercity Pace Final. But I do think there's that little question mark when there is a bit of depth in the race where he's going to be. I've put him in for 4th. I'd be very surprised if he won the race. My selections for the Hondo Grattan Stakes on Saturday night, I'm going with number 11, Cruise Bromac, to beat 12 Arms of an Angel, 1 Amaretto, and number 4, Kept Under Wraps. 11, 12, 1 and 4. That's race 5 on Tabcorp Park, Menangle's card on Saturday night, and looking forward to all of the action.